What's up, everyone? So in today's video, I wanted to talk about a new hire that I just brought onto my company just a few months ago and has been working extremely well for me. Didn't know too much about me. My name's Charlie. I own an overseas recruiting company. I also own a media company called Academy. We own a portfolio of over 50 YouTube channels, all in the educational space. And we pump out a ton of content. So essentially, as you can tell, as you can probably imagine with a company like that, there's a lot that you can optimize with AI, right? I've spent the last couple of years really trying to learn AI and implement it into my own business because I know that when done right, this makes your business way more efficient, way more optimized. And yes, there are tons and tons of really bad AI softwares out there, AI slop, that's what I call them. But when it comes to processes and your systems and stuff, there's a lot of stuff that you guys can build out, especially these AI agents, that can have a massive impact on the efficiency and workflow in your business. So yeah, I should say, so I call it the AI Implementor, right? And essentially I hired someone, they're actually in China, in Shanghai, and yeah, they cost about $2.5 to $3,000 per month for this role. And essentially all they're doing every single day is figuring out ways to implement AI into my current business. You might be thinking okay, you're just making a bunch of YouTube videos. It can't be that complicated. Well, there's actually a pretty complex workflows and automations that we have within the business. It's what allows us to put out so many videos per month. And yeah, when you have that type of workflow, yeah, there's so much stuff that he has already implemented into the business to actually make it a lot more efficient. 2.5 to 3K per month is quite expensive for an overseas hire, but for me, it has been completely worth it. I think if you're watching this video and you also have a business that could use AI implementation, yeah, you should hire someone like that because the ROI is just going to be insane as long as you get someone that's good, right? If you think about it, as the CEO or whatever your role is, one of the highest ROI things that you can do for the business is to make it more efficient. It's to minimize your payroll while still keeping fulfillment or operations at a certain level. It's to make things run smoothly. It's to, depending on your business type, partnerships. There's a lot of these high ROI activities. And personally for me, I think if you're not spending at least 30 minutes to an hour every single day researching what new AIs there are, researching creative ways to implement it into your business, then you are doing your business a disservice. For me, I spend time on AI, but I'm not amazing at it. I don't have deep technical knowledge about how to use AI. And I also don't have time to watch. There's thousands and thousands of videos out there teaching people how to create these AI agents and workflows and things like that. So if you don't have the time to spend hours per day, this is definitely something that you should hire for. It is a very high ROI role. And while they won't necessarily make you more money, they're not going to probably add revenue to your business, at least yet, they're surely going to make it more efficient, probably minimize your payroll, or at least make your current team a lot more efficient. And that could result in not having to hire as many people in the future. You get more output per employee or hire, all that type of stuff. So very, very good. That's why I highly recommend hiring some type of person just like this. For me, I found them in China, but there are people like this all over the world. Yeah, you can find someone in the States, but it's probably gonna be extremely expensive. We're talking, I don't know, 7, 10K plus per month. So yeah, so essentially what our person has been doing is, let me move this. Here are some of the tasks. Hopefully you guys can read this. But one of the main things that they do is they talk to all of our project managers, and essentially what they're trying to get out of them is hey, what do you guys need built out? What types of automations, what types of AI workflows can I help with, right? So the PMs, all right, PMs are gonna tell the AI guy what they need built out, because they help run all that stuff, at least for my business. And this person, they work on it, and they go back to the PMs with a prototype, let's say demo. They get feedback, they go back and forth, and then that new system gets implemented into their workflow. So essentially this person's, it's like an auditor, right? They're coming in, they're saying, yo, what do you guys need to be more efficient? What can I automate? And then they're gonna tell them, and then they're gonna build it, and then they're gonna implement it. So it's this whole system. That's why I call it Implementor. Right, that's the keyword right here. A lot of these automations are currently built on platforms like N8N. I think that's the main one we use. We also use Make. Make is pretty cheap and has some pretty automations pre-built on there. These are the main platforms. Our company has like a main N8N account, and we use the community version, which is completely free. I think a lot of people don't know that N8N is like a open source, is that what it's called? Open source software that's free. They have paid plans on their site, but you don't actually need to get those paid plans, because with those paid plans, you're not paying for N8N. You're paying for the hosting, right? The VPS basically. So what we do is we host the self-host N8N on our own VPS. That VPS is through Hostinger, so what I use for all my web hosting. And then it saves us a lot of money, because hosting through the VPS through Hostinger is like, I don't know, like $5 per month. So let's write that. It's like, we'll say 5 to 7, because they have different plans for VPS per month for VPS. But essentially, you just need to get a VPS account. It's basically a virtual private machine. I forget what VPS stands for, but a virtual private server, I think. And that's what's hosting N8N on it, right? So through that account, we basically build out a ton of agent workflows. It's basically a bunch of different platforms and softwares connected together with this agent. So you run the workflow once, it does a bunch of different things, right? An example of this could be an AI scripts brainstormer. So you essentially, every single week it spits out, or on, let's say Monday, it sends out a report, and that report is generated through this AI agent in N8N. On that report, it's going to have a bunch of different potential video ideas that you can make, potential titles. You might have some links to different videos for inspiration and stuff like that. You can automate all this stuff within N8N. So it is very, very powerful. I do have a full tutorial on my main YouTube channel on how to use N8N. But you guys can learn in this, just watch a bunch of different videos. There are also a ton of great communities that you can join. Let me write those down right here, because this is actually very helpful. N8N. So, which communities are we in? Nate, I think that's how you spell his name, Nate Herc. He has a great community. They basically have a lot of tutorials. They show how to build these agents. And they also might give you these templates so that you can literally copy and paste it into your own N8N account, customize it for your liking or use case. So that can save a ton of time. Community. Right, there's another one that I'm a part of. I don't remember his name, but he is Asian. So probably not enough information, but join these groups. They have a bunch of different templates. Have your AI implementer basically go through these groups, sort through, like, because it takes a lot of manpower and like energy and focus, right? Have that person go through, pick and choose what things could be implemented in your own business, and then have them actually implement it. Have them copy it over into your account, customize it for your business, and then fully implement it. So, okay, and make, right? So, of course, as you can probably tell, like, this person that you hire, this AI implementer, needs to be pretty familiar with your business. So you do need to onboard them correctly. They do need to know like all your workflows, all your systems. Once they have that idea, they'll have a pretty solid like initial route on where they can go to find stuff to install, right? They'll be able to like see your workflow and be like, okay, why are you guys manually doing this? I can build out an agent that scrapes this data and then automatically creates that report or something like that. There's probably hundreds and hundreds of little things within your company that are still manually done that can be outsourced. I'm not saying all those things should be outsourced, because some things it's good to have a real person like own that data or calculate that data themselves, but there's a lot of stuff that does not need to be like that. So this person essentially is like, they're essentially creating a bunch of new assistants in your company, if that makes sense. And they're also like supercharging your current team with these tools. So that's basically what I'd recommend doing. Find someone that's really good at AI, someone that spends a lot of time doing research. That's very, very important. But also someone that has the technical knowledge to actually build out these agents. It actually doesn't, like, you don't need to go to school for this stuff. All this really requires is someone with a lot of hustle, someone that's really into AI and who has, at least a few months building out these agents, right? You don't need these like super technical coding skills from most of these agents. Of course, it might help for some stuff, but the learning curve is actually like you don't need a college graduate to do this. You don't need a PhD, a master's. So it's actually a lot less expensive than you might think, especially for the amount of change that this person can create within your company. So yeah, this is a new role that, like I said, I have now on my team. It's been great, and I think for any of you guys watching this, if you have a company with systems with at least a few people, this could be a pretty worthy role to introduce to your team. It's usually not revenue generating, but it is optimizing for sure, and it'll make your business a lot more efficient and prevent you from having to hire a lot of these like extraneous roles for support or VA stuff, right? If you guys are interested in hiring someone like this, we can definitely help you find someone through Paired. That's my overseas recruiting company. It's gonna be someone overseas. You guys can basically choose what country. We specialize in Indonesia and Latin America, but we basically do roles from all over the entire world, right? China even. So yeah, hopefully this gives you some insight onto what this person can do for your company, what it does for my company, and yeah, hopefully you guys take some action. That's it for this video. I'm gonna make a lot more videos like this in the future, so stay tuned. All right, see you guys.